Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. Yes, that's how we do it around here. Nothing but straight talk. My co-hosts are the wonderful, you guys know him, the AI man, Mr. Keith Swanson. People still looking for him. Well. You'll catch up with him one day, but this AI man is doing some marvelous thing. He's all over the place, and you can't find him. I guess that's the smartness of AI. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Yeah, look for me in the clouds. Look for me in the clouds.
My God.
Right? I'm doing good.
Everything is in the cloud. Our telephone numbers, our email address. We don't have any kind of privacy anymore. Isn't that amazing?
No, it's gone. Okay, it is gone.
Wow. My other co-host is Shawana Bordenay. She's the real estate extraordinaire. She's buy houses, sell houses, bulldoze houses down.
That's the scary part when you do that. It's like, oh my God, I did it.
No, she does everything to housing. If you're interested in buying a house, selling a house, whatever you want to do to a house, she's your girl, okay? You can give her a call. She'll give her number out. What is your number, Shawana?
Okay, it's 310-420-9046. That's 310-420-9046. Any questions, anything, give me a call, for sure.
Well, you guys, you need to get on it. Stop talking about the interest rate is high, so is rent. Everything is high. Ain't nothing down
Dr. Rosie. Dr. Rosie, can I tell you, when I first got into real estate, in the very beginning, it was at 18 and 20%. And to get a loan, it cost you the same thing, 18 points, 20 points. Yeah. And people were doing it all day long. They were doing it all day long, and without a thought. And we quibble about this little interest rate. It's not high. Buy. Don't get stuck.
Yeah,
because later on, when you buy today, right, and when you buy today, tomorrow, you'll be like, oh, my God, can you believe that I bought that house for whatever price, and it's worth this price? I mean, it's amazing how your assets go up in value.
Just 4 years. Just 4 years ago.
Do it.
Just 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Sometimes I was looking at some of the properties people brought to me in 2016. I was like, that's kind of high. And those properties with $700,000, $800,000. Those same properties sold for $3.5–4 million. Oh my God! Buy regardless of the price, because property values will always increase. And we, as a Black community, need to get involved in purchasing properties, holding on to properties, doing what we need to do in order to own a piece of real estate here in our county and cities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the way to go. You got to have some place to stay. So make no mistake about it, So you guys, we have a great show today. Actually, when I was doing my research and really thinking about this show, sometimes you do shows that kind of make you almost depressed when you really look at the real deal. When I think about all these different conferences that are being held about the status of Black America, the status of Black LA, sometimes I get sick of all this, the status why are we doing this? What about the status of other people? All we doing is portraying all the negative impact and negative about Black folks. I'm about tired of these conferences. I don't know about you, Keith. What do you think about that? I'm sick of every year the status of blacks, so nobody ever come back and talk about how things have changed, how it improved. They just pull out problems and make black folks look so bad without explaining why these situations take place. True. That's why when I hear people talk about blacks dollar only bounce 2 times, hell, it's good to bounce 2 times. You don't own the business, you don't own the hospital, you don't own the gas station. So that's not a personal indictment on black folks. And I think we need to stop throwing out those type of statistics, because I think it leaves a negative impact with our young people who are left feeling, hopeless with all these stats that we keep throwing out, and we don't throw out what have changed and what we can do better. What do you think about that?
I agree. We don't do a good job of explaining how economics really works.
Yeah, and how we got there.
How it works, how you can get out of it.
Like everything is our own fault. Well, today we're going to talk about the devastating economic consequences of low marriage rates among Black Americans. I'll say that again. The devastating economic consequence. And I'll tell you, the only thing we need to be focusing on right now, not politics, not who's going to be in the White House. We need to focus on economics. So we're going to look at the economic devastation, the consequence of low marriage rates among Black Americans, and the high divorce rate and the reluctance of Black men to marry must come to a halt or face some serious consequences for you, your kids, and your kids' kids. Likewise, Black women who view Black men merely as financial security must change this mindset or face the repercussions. And there are repercussions behind the mindset of women who think men are supposed to take care of them, pay their house note, make sure they're okay. You bring in the bacon. That's got to go out the window, because that's why a lot of Black men are choosing not to get married, because they feel they're not economically strong enough coming into a relationship with a Black woman who wants everything.
That's what they've been told. And there's been how many books come out every couple years that saying Black men economically unattractive to Black women?
Yeah. Well, sometimes when I hear Black men talk about Black women being gold diggers, I have to say to them, Black women are not gold diggers, because if they were gold digging, they wouldn't be trying to talk to a lot of Black men, because how many Black men really have gold? And a lot of them that have it, sometimes many of them to the other persuasion. But I want to look at don't you be laughing, Keith.
I'm gonna be good.
I had to laugh at that too.
Why? Why should one?
It's not true.
Because it's just funny. That we have to look other ways, other places instead of right here,
You know what the queer rate, as they call it, LGBTQ rate of Black men is?
What?
It's less than 10%. You know what it is for Black women?
What?
27. Almost triple what Black men are. So they said that Black men are all this kind of stuff. It's actually triple for women, but women don't get downgraded for it. Black women are the biggest so-called homosexual rate of all groups, believe it or not. 27% self-reported.
Well, I guess you can understand. Everybody feel like they need love wherever they get it from. That's how I guess. Everybody needs to be loved, okay? And people are going to find it somewhere. They're going to get it wherever they can find it. By any means necessary. Love is a very important part of happiness and well-being for your health and everything. People underplay how important it is to be in love. Even if you're in love with somebody who don't love you, as long as they're not abusing you. But if just the fact that you can feel love, it adds to your health, add to your mental status. So I can understand.
Black men get a bad rap for a lot of things that we don't do, but it's okay.
Well, that's why I don't like the double standards, Keith. I really don't. Where if a black man do something so ridiculous, black woman does, it's okay. We got to really let those double standards go, and then it'll just make things much better for us. But what I feel like, it is critical for black men and women to really get to know each other. I said get to know each other for who they are. We are not Caucasian clone. The black man is not Caucasian clone. The black woman is not Caucasian clone. It's time that we really get an understanding of who we are, what makes us tick, and how we differ. People want to think that, well, we all the same. That's how they did me when I was on Sarah Jesse Raphael's show talking about satisfying the black man and black woman, sexually made simple. You just trying to start trouble. We all the same.
We're not all the same.
Sit yourself down.
Sex between black men and women, American black men and black women, are completely different than everybody else on the planet, and people don't realize that. It's completely different.
That's why I'm going to put back out and make sure every black man and black woman get my book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple. It's not about sexual methodology. You know how to do it, however you want to do it. But it's about how your whole life is impacted. And when we learn, I don't know why we're so afraid to learn about us instead of trying to adapt to the ways of other people. We separate ourselves and learn about how we tick, what makes the black man and black woman tick.
If we really we try to map on what we think other people do onto us, and the thing is, because I talk to dating coaches of Asian and Latino and white, and what a male dating coach would tell a white man about sex is completely different than what a black dating coach would tell a black man about sex, right? Because if I could take it like 30 seconds, right? A white man, what shocked me, and it was, I was in my 40s when it shocked me, is when a white man told me that a white woman's orgasm is not important to you. You shouldn't even worry about it. That's her problem, right? Okay. And as a black man, you grow up as a little boy telling you that if you don't sexually satisfy a black woman, that you are not squat. Okay. So when I heard that, I said, "Are you kidding?" And I said, so I checked it, and I checked with Asian and Latino, and guess what? The black man is the only one whose woman's sexual pleasure is tantamount. We're the only ones.
You have to understand, Keith, when you start looking at black folks, sometimes their only high form of gratification is sex. They don't have that yacht they can get on and go on the weekend and go out in the ocean. There's so many other things they cannot do. So sex becomes their tranquilizer. It becomes they're so lazy. It becomes everything to people who don't have anything. It really does. So that's what makes it different. And for black men, you can ask anybody in a place in the world what they know about the black man. They won't tell you he invented blood plasma. He was the first successful open heart surgeon. They start talking about the size of his penis and what he
Do you know? Because I'm actually arguing with somebody about the Civil War, right, and the cause of the Civil War, right? Do you know before the Civil War, black slavery was responsible for like 85% of U.S. exports. 85%.
Wow.
The exported goods was the whole industrial world of white folks is built on the South. The South is responsible for everything. This is what's called Empire Cotton explains it. The whole Southern explosion was built on black slavery, Southern slavery at that. Okay, so that's how much of factor that we factor into white wealth if we don't get credit for it. So, but you know what, Dr. Rosie, I just want to give you your flowers because people always ask me how come I say black men and women are in reverse order of nature. They don't realize where I got it from. You just a misogynist. You don't know what you're talking. I said I didn't get it from black man. Okay, that's not. I didn't. That's not. It didn't come from me. My mentor, she said that. She's been saying that for years.
Absolutely, and you can really look at the black woman, the only woman that you always hear talking about. I'm independent. You don't hear other women talking about that, and that came from slavery, from that orientation, because she could not depend on the black man. She had to do what she had to do because the black man was castrated in her presence, beaten, tied to horses, and she has to sit there and look at it. So how could she feel like her black man was protecting her? She saw the white man as her savior. Even when she and her husband get into an argument or fight or whatever, she would call the white man. White man come down there, nigga, don't you hit her no more. You know, I'm telling you.
I heard my daughter say that about the father of her child. Okay, I'm gonna get the white man on you.
Call a man on him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that too.
Yeah. My uncle used to say,
"I'm gonna call the man on you."
We need to call the law. Call the law.
Oh, we knew who the man was.
Yeah. He said, "Call the law." The
you
white
have
man
to say
was
whether, hey, I'm gonna call the man on you. You see what happens.
Exactly. So how could the black woman feel protected?
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So now it's very difficult because she realized now if she call a man on you, you subject to get killed. So now she's in a catch-22 where she's taking a beating, she's taking abuse because she knows what might happen if she called the police on the black man. Okay, so we have to understand some of the ills that takes place. When we understand that and embrace each other. Because the black woman didn't come to America on TWA, American Airlines. She came on that same slave ship, was beaten, brand, raped, and everything else. And you go back, there were people in the country where white men came into their house, man sitting on the porch, they go in the house and had sex with their wives and come out and tell them, you know, how exciting it was. And it was nothing they can do. But people want to erase that history. They want to erase it.
And then have to raise the child after she has the baby, the white man's baby. So have to raise it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You looking at that child, you know that's not your child, and you know it belonged to the overseer, but it was nothing you can do. That's why when I hear black men now talking about they want a paternity test and all this, you have go somewhere and sit yourself down. Black folks have always taken care of children that was not there, so just go on and do the best you can. But one thing I can say for sure, if we don't increase this marriage rate, it's going to be doom and damnation for black folks.
Yeah, I agree.
And let me tell you, so we got to find a way to work it out. Get to know who we are. You know, sure, we're looking at the fact, I'm going to give you some stats here. We're going to look at the marriage rate by races, okay? For black, we have 30 to 35% of black women that's getting married.
Less than that. Less than that.
And
27.
The average income, household income for the black family, $45,000. Now, what can you do with that? No wonder there's so many divorces and everything else. Economic money and bedroom turmoil tears up many families. And when there's no money, when they say no finance, no romance. So now we need to one day, Keith, have a conference so we can talking about the status of black men and black women. Let's factor in all of these things that causes these low marriages, high divorces, and low media income. Stop right there. Hold it right there. When you compare all those things and look at the black family as a whole, this is devastating. This has to change. This has to change. Well, and you're looking at the birth rate for black women. It's like 70% of them having children, and they're unmarried. So until we look at this whole picture and dissect this, we will never be able to come out of the ditch because we are not given a proper diagnosis. All we're doing is looking at the problem. Does that make sense?
It makes 100% sense.
When you tie all this together, 70% of their black babies are born to a single parent. Wow. I did all the research, even the number of black men that's incarcerated, the number of black women based on compared to other races. It is right. It is heartbreaking. And then you want to act like black folks just woke up overnight and decided we ain't going to be nothing. We ain't going to have nothing. We going to stay at the bottom. Hell to the no.
Yeah.
Look at what causes all this. So are you willing to fix this?
Yeah.
Is there anybody willing to try to make the black family whole? The answer is no. So we have to make ourselves whole by exposing this information and putting in a plan as to what we can do about it. We can't keep bringing these babies in this world in poverty, because these kids want to have what everybody else have. They want a bicycle, they want the skating board, they want all the games, and they'll find a way to get it. And when parents are broke, do you think that kids are treated different?
They are.
A broke family who don't have anything, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay rent, and you broke a bowl in my house. You're going to get a good ass whipping. You done broke something. I don't know when I can replace it. Folks, until we understand this, the key, somebody got to start talking about, if you're married, try to work it out. Now, a lot of men, Keith, don't want to go for counseling. You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of bad counselors out there, so yeah.
Well, that's
a lot of men
one
afraid
reason
of it.
we need more black counselors out there too. Because a lot of black men just not gonna talk to white folks.
That and they need black male counselors, and that's the problem. I've talked to a whole bunch of black guys, and the way we are socialized, okay, to think of black men differently. If you get a black male counselor, then you see a lot of different results. So we need more black male counselors and psychiatrists out there.
I really believe that, Keith, because there's a lot of black men just really don't want to be counseled.
Yeah, that's why.
By a woman, whether she's white or black.
Or white or black. That's true, because they get, and I can tell you the different results that I've heard from guys that have had a white or black female counselor for years, and they could never get things fixed, and they find a good black male counselor, they're fixed within months.
See, these are the things that need to be talked about as to what do we need to make the black community whole. Not just talking about the status. What do we need to make the black man and the black woman whole again? That needs to be the aim. So they would feel good about being married. Because the society say, well, you're supposed to bring in the bacon. And here you sitting up, how can you feel like you can do for your wife? Go back in the day, what the white man was doing to his wife. When she was at home, she didn't have to work. Because you were in the field. You were doing the work. And your mother was taking care of her babies. So if we go back and face history and see how all this stuff got started and see how we put the wrong thing in our head about a black man having to take care of us. When we came up in the country, you were in the same field picking cotton as that black man. Okay? You were doing the same thing that he was doing, and all of a sudden, we allowed somebody to classify roles as to what the black man should do and what the black woman should do. No, we have to do whatever's necessary to make ourselves whole again. Let me get the number out. Those who want to talk to us, you can call 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. Or you can email us here at innerlightradio@yahoo.com. That's INNER, innerlightradio@yahoo.com. We got to become whole again. We're going to have to like each other well enough to say we can get married. It's just, people don't realize what they're missing. Man and woman was not designed biblically to be alone. You were not designed. It was not God's intention for man or woman to be alone. That's why we got all this chaos. That's why we have all these confusion. We're out of balance. And any woman who is in a wholesome relationship would tell you that she can do so much more with her business, with her job, with her children. Her whole life is different when that union is in place. When you know that you go home, you got somebody there who understands you or who can be a sounding board. It's just not good going home looking at the walls and looking at stupid television. Now, you can call up here saying, well, you know what? I'm doing good by myself. I don't need no man, honey.
That's what that is.
I can do bad all by myself.
I just heard that like 4 times yesterday by 4 on YouTube by 4 different women, four different black women said the exact same thing.
And they do all that talk, and the young women believe them. The time a man come by and really pay attention to them, here they done jumped in relationship with women. Let me say this, and don't call up here talking crazy to me. Y'all need to stop lying about your needs in your situation. Honey, I don't need no man. You saying that because you don't have one. I don't want no man. You saying that because you don't have one. I don't think it's a woman out there who wouldn't appreciate having a man in their life.
They won't marry him, but they will have sex with him. And that's I'll have sex with that man. I'll have a baby with that man, but I won't marry that man because I think he's a burden.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough money. He doesn't make enough income, but he makes enough for you to have a child that you got, and then you trying to take from him now for child support. Now you know he didn't have that much when you laid down with him, and now that you have a baby by him, now you want him now to give you child support. I think we have a caller on the. Do we have a caller, Keith? Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. We can hear, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Paul. I'm from L.A. And I remember when Dr. Rosie was on Sally Jesse Raphael. You know, the panel that lady put together made no sense at all. First, they had one white lady who she's sitting there. Why do you have to write a book just about black women? You know, she had no clue what was going on. Had a brother on there who's a musician. Hey, he could play nice music, but he didn't know what was going on. Then you had this one sister named Ruth, who all she had was an attitude. And I was waiting for Rosie to go, and that's the truth, Ruth. And then there was only one sister on there who actually read the book, okay? And she wrote an advice column for a newspaper in Northern California. All right, so she was the only person that agreed with Dr. Rosie because she actually read the book.
Right.
And I was like, yes, I'm real familiar with it. Yes, because I wanted to meet her because she made sense. The rest of that panel was whack.
Paul, remember this white woman said to me, well, we're just the same. We're the same. And I said, look, if you and your husband, your son, 16, is out, went to the movie at 12 o'clock, he's not home. Your husband want to make love to you. You all game for it. I said, well, the black woman is not. Because she's worried. She don't know if something happened to her son by the police or somebody who looked like her. That within itself is a difference. And then I said to her, if you and your man break up, you stand a better chance of getting a child support check than I do because he stand a better chance of getting a job. I said, so you can't talk to me about blackness because you're not black. So, folks, we have got to come to understand who we are. And marriage needs to be on the top of our list. Stop running from it. We need to decide if the man needs to stay home and take care of kids and you work because you're making a certain amount of money and you want your kids to be properly educated, taken care instead of being dropped off to the babysitter. It's nothing wrong with that, black folk. Don't let society, don't let society tell you who needs to bring in the bacon. You got to do what works for you, your family, and your children. I don't know why you're saying that, Keith. It makes all the sense in the world. We let other folks tell us how to live, how to run our marriages. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, and we never used to do it that way. I was listening to one guy that who's a feminist and all this kind of stuff, and guess how he's married? He's married with the same way that you did it, that my mother did it years ago, right? Come together, no matter what you have, we put it all in one pot and we make it work. And that's the way it was done, and that's the way he does it. And people think that there's something new. It's not new. That's why we've done it for years. Black men have never been what we call so-called patriarchs, okay? It never worked. It was always egalitarian.
Well, I think we need to go back to whatever we need to do that we can have wholesome relationships. Because when you're talking about 70% of babies born out of wedlock, because somebody want to have sex with your daughter or you, but they don't think enough to marry you. I mean, women gonna have to put a hold on that thing.
She doesn't want. The thing is, it's not even the men; it's the women. The women, and I've heard this the other day, right? Especially nowadays, black folks get into a sexual relationship and then worry about a relationship after that. And a lot of black women have, I call it having babies by their concubines, which is their sexual partner, instead of their husband.
So what you're saying is they actually get in a sexual relationship many times, hoping to develop a real relationship. But yeah, and that's why they really need to read this book. Why black men satisfying the black man sexually made simple and satisfying the black woman sexually made simple. So you can understand the black woman's fears. You can understand some of the hang-ups that black women want, and you will also understand what really turned black women on. And it's just all these things you'll understand. Recipe for sexual fulfillment. The one thing the man wants from his woman in bed and out of bed. It's not just in bed. Black men has a lot of desires, a lot of things they want from you outside of the bed. So don't think the minute he walks in your house, you got to have on your negligee and trying to entice him sexually. Go somewhere and sit down, okay? He might just want to cook a meal for you and sit down and talk. So don't turn everything into a sexual experience.
Sex is probably the biggest component for black relationships. Sex is at the center of everything. Okay. Dr. Rose, you've been counseling black men and women for I don't know how many years, right? Yeah. Sex is always the most important component in a black relationship. It is. Okay. If he can't get it or she can't get it, then the relationship is going to go south.
Well, I tell you what, a lot of them going to go south now because Keith, there's an increase, there's a rise in black men impotency. I'm going to put it out there. It is. Number one, because a lot of them who have high blood pressure, their medication impact their ability to get an erection. So many of them are diabetic. And a good erection is no more than good blood flow to the penis. Okay? So if you're having problem with circulation, you're going to have problems in that department. And let me throw another thing out there. A lot of you women out there who are not cooking, running to all these fast food places, all this fat chicken and all this stuff you're eating, clog up the arteries. You only think it clog up the arteries of the heart, but there are arteries in the penis, there's arteries in many different parts of your body. So you clog up those arteries. You're feeding your men into a state of impotency. But you have to understand, if that takes place, the black man got to realize, Keith, that he's more than an erected penis. Okay? Because they tend to not come home. The woman think he's out with somebody. He don't want to come home because he know he can't get an erection. Y'all better learn something, okay? Because if the erected penis of a black man is all you have to live for, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, I said that. You're going to be in trouble. And that's why a lot of times men just hang out with other men because, they don't know how to be lovable with a woman if they're having some erection problem. That's so sad. That is so sad because you're not going to be ready at all times. You're not going to always be able to get an erection. There's going to be premature ejaculation. There's all kinds of problems going on with black men because a lot, and not only that, couple that, Keith, with those who are drinking. Drinking definitely impacts your sexuality. And then you got those who are smoking. Oh my God. And women, and it's sad, you out there jumping up in the bed with somebody having sex, something you didn't even get any enjoyment out of it. Now you got a baby that you got to carry for the next 20 years on your own. That's crazy because you never know what you're going to get now. When you get in these sexual experience, you don't know what you're going to get. You're taking a chance. You're taking a chance of getting pregnant without having an enjoyment with the sexual experience. Now that's deep, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you got 20 years to raise this child by yourself, and you got nothing from that experience. So why couldn't you just have intimacy and enjoyed each other and build a relationship?
Yeah.
Build a relationship. And I think once you build a relationship, it'll be easier for you to come to the pleasurization of your sexual experience. But black men and black women, we got to come to the point that we feel that each other, if we're good enough to have sex with the person, it's good enough for you to get married. You should care about these kids out here. No father in the home, not having the energy from a mother and a father. Things will not change for the black race unless we change this. Economics will not change in our community unless we fix this. You can barely make it with two salaries. And you talking about one? Yeah. Where are we going with this, Keith?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I say something here?
Yes, Paul.
Okay. Now, you mentioned relationships, and I remember back in the day when you used to have those relationship seminars. And it seems, okay, where somebody would always come in and, want to throw a monkey wrench in it. And unfortunately, it would usually be a sister. You had this one relationship seminar, and the sister brought up, now we talking about black-on-black relationships, black men and black women, or nowadays we would say ADOS, FBA or whatever, right? And this one sister said, well, what if I do if, the only person that's interested in me is a white man? Now, why did she bring that argument or that question to that seminar? All she did was start a firestorm, all right? Okay, I mean, there was an argument that broke out. Who was that? I shouldn't mention the sister's name, but I think y'all know Brother Keating. All right, those two got into it. I'm like, what? And all you have to do is, okay, bring up the whole race thing. It's like if you ever watched the movie Jungle Fever, and there's a scene in there after Flipper, ends up, he tells Cyrus about, his relationship with the white girl that is his secretary. Flipper, Cyrus goes back and tells his wife tells Flipper's wife, and all of a sudden you got a war council going. And, one sister in the war council was sitting there, well, that's why I don't deal with black men. I deal with white men, blah, blah. I'm like, what? You disqualified yourself from the dialogue. What in the heck is this? If you guys are talking about being with black men, then why you got somebody in here that, wants to do something else? Go over there. Or as I've heard people say, in certain circles, date out. All right. But they just got to come back and throw it in everybody's face. I'm with this white guy there. Oh yeah, well, how come you're not with him now?
Because the white man is a status symbol.
But what's the status symbol if you ain't not getting married?
Well, the thing is, and this is in feminist language too, is that the biggest, because she can give him what black men can't, which is white womanhood.
That's a myth.
It might be a myth, but that's what she believes.
Well, and Paul, she said that she didn't have nothing to do with black men. So how was she disqualifying them, saying that the only person who wants to be involved with her, who's chasing after her, is white men? Well, if you have this attitude that you don't want to be bothered with black men, they pick up that energy. So why should they want to be bothered with you?
And why are you in a black relationship seminar?
That's what I'm saying. They're sent there to sabotage. Okay.
No, actually they love black men, and that's why they're there.
Yeah.
A lot of reason, and their white relationships are not what they claim it to be.
Yeah, they love us to death. They get mad as they want to run us over with their car. Or do the hot grip thing like with Al Green or something like that.
And what the thing is that the most egalitarian man on the planet is black men. And there was a sister that she wrote that in a Twitter post. She said she'd been all over the world. She's dated outside her race of all races and stuff like that. And she had to come to the conclusion the best man for her is a black man, American black man.
I think they're more compassionate, more understanding, more caring.
More cooperative,
Yes, more willing to work to work with you.
Yeah.
So we just have to understand each other, and then look at what we want, and stop looking at. See, we're looking at the financial part, but we'll never rise from a financial standpoint until we stop doing some of the crazy stuff. Stop asking a man to pay your house note. Pay your own house note. I mean, that's just like asking him to pay for sex. And if he doesn't do it, then you don't want to be intimate with him. What are we doing? What are we asking? Are you a prostitute or just a sophisticated one? What are you doing here?
Because black men are looked at as worth less. They look as a burden, so he has to do more to qualify for his own woman.
Why do black men start out, Keith, when that you know that you can't afford the highest restaurant in town? Why you start out taking that woman, and then she's going to always expect that type of outing? Why can't you be honest about your financial condition? Why do you have to lie or try to make believe? I mean, that's some of the problem.
Men lie is because that's your qualification. Just like we go lie to get in a job, and you don't have the qualifications. Same thing. You're applying for a job, you don't have it to qualify, so you have to lie about it. That's why black men lie about the size of their penis, how much money they make, what car they drive, and what they can do, is because they know they won't qualify if they don't lie. Men are very, very adaptive. They do what's required to do to get something done. And so if they're lying about what they do and how much money they make, it's because they've been rejected because they didn't qualify. So.
Wow. Let me give the number out again. It's 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733.
In fact, the white woman said, white, it's right, and this is something we call it racial hypergamy, right? Black men begin on a whole. We have to measure up to even be with our women, right? Whereas a white man, he's on a pedestal.
Wow.
All the white guy got to do is show up.
Oh, you got to use white, yeah.
Just be white. He don't have to do anything else. The black man got to have an erection.
Every
time you see him, he got to have money. He got to be good in bed.
Yeah.
Woo, that's such a burden.
Do you guys really believe that?
Yeah. We had to talk. Okay. This is not. This is I mean, I don't know how many studies on this stuff about that where it's self-reported. Penis size, height, weight, money, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And
that's a burden that he have to wait. Yeah, he has to wade through the bedroom hoping that he can perform up to what. I mean, who needs that kind of burden? You know, who needs that kind of burden?
He's under that kind of scrutiny, and if you don't, your name is mud.
You got women, Keith, who take no responsibility for their own sexual gratification. They won't even have a conversation with their man about what really turns her on, what prepares her for sex. Well, he ought to know he a man.
He ought to know.
Under too much. What the other woman wanted may not be what you want. That's why.
He's 13. He ought to know.
Yeah,
he's 13. He's 13, 14 years old. He ought to know. Yeah.
Right. There's too much responsibility put on the man. Shawana, what's on your mind? Because you over there giggling.
Uh-oh.
What's on
I'm
your
just
mind?
listening.
Yeah. She's laughing.
I
You're a
just
black
don't
woman.
feel. Yeah, I'm a black woman. I don't think that what you guys are saying is true, that, a white man don't have to prove anything, because I think everybody has to prove something. I don't think, it's a black or white thing. But I think that black men go for the white woman. What's the difference? You know what I mean?
Actually, and this is something that we just talked about, right? It's not true, because the vast majority of black men are afraid of white women. Okay, very, very seldom we see a black man that's actually going to approach a white woman first. It's like 99% of them won't, because there's repercussions if you approach a white woman. She rejects you and rejects you the wrong way. It's a burden to be with a white woman for a black man. Everyone I've ever talked to, driving down the street, walking down the street, in a car, dating, all that kind of stuff, there's an extra burden for dating a white woman. So black men 9 times out of 10 do not approach a white one has to qualify for you. Okay.
I think a woman would be, if she had sex with a white man and it wasn't what she thought it would be, she's not as disappointed as she would be with a black man.
With black men, yeah. Because
they'll socialize you that he come ready. He prepared.
Yeah, he's gonna break your back, girl.
Right. So you have an expectation when you get in bed with a black man that you may not have that expectation.
I'm a witness.
Yeah, the expectation is really high.
Oh, it's high. Yes, it is.
I don't know.
And
Really?
that's why
You really think so?
for black men, Shawana, they rather have a heart attack than to face the fact that they cannot get an erection.
Yeah.
They'll stop taking their medication, have a stroke or a heart attack, because they won't even go and tell the doctor that it's impacting their sexuality. That doesn't make sense at all. You should be more to your woman than just an erected penis. If that's all you are, you need to be looking for another woman.
Right. Well, women make them feel like that. So you know what I mean? They make them feel like that.
Oh, really?
And
Really?
we have to make. Yeah, that's what they do.
Tell us more, Shawana.
I think. You're gonna get me started. I just think that we should not be so hard on our men if they can't get an erection. I think that you're supposed to work with them and not sit there and fault them. I don't think that's something that you're supposed to fault a man for. You know, you're supposed to just.
And you shouldn't shouldn't have sex every time a person get an erection. I think the greatest thing for men, I've talked to men who said that how gratifying it was for them when they got an erection, did not have sex, wasn't forced like you got to have sex, because men get sex in the wind blow. Hell, they can get erection watching the basketball game. So that's no big thing, you know. So we need to learn to intimacy. That's what's missing in our relationship. Loving a person, loving other than just one part of their body, okay? Just loving that person. Yeah, just caressing and loving and holding. That means a lot, especially in difficult times like these with all the trouble, the pains that people are going through. People dying, they're starving for just a decent hug, somebody to show love toward them without expecting it for them to get into bed. Because you're bringing up a problem. Because sometimes men not interested in that. They want to hold you, but you feel like you got to go into something, you know. So when we get these things in perspective, then we can have decent marriages. We have to talk about all of this stuff. We really do. What it really means. What does sex mean to a woman? Different meaning. What does it mean to a man? It's totally different. But bottom line, you know what?
It is different, and we have to understand. You heard of the five different feelings that you have that invokes love. There's 5 different things, and which one are you? Are you gift giving? Are you a gift? Yeah, the 5 love languages. There's 5, and it's true though. There are different love languages, and sometimes we don't recognize the love language of our mate. And we may want a certain love language, and he's not giving it to you, or she's not giving it to you. But we have to really understand what those languages are. And it's not always about sex, because it just isn't. It's not about sex. It's about being there for one another, loving each other, protecting, supporting, and then the love comes after. Even if it's just caressing, there's nothing wrong with that.
Should
you
be.
know, and you have to. You say it should be something wrong with it.
No, there should be that way, but it's.
It should be, yeah.
If you listen to all the matchmakers and female dating coaches, okay, it's looks, sex, and then money. That's the top 3 things that women want from them. Black women want from a man.
We got to look at what we want. Stop. Forget about all the books that white folks have written and all the stuff they have said.
No, these are black female matchmakers and black female dating coaches about what their clients want, what they ask for. The top 3 things.
We need to stop emulating and trying to simulate and look at what we really need for ourselves. And see, men sometimes tend to think that it's sex that a woman wants when it's not. You need communication. You don't ask. You just assume. You know, if you buy her dinner, you take her out, and you spend $200, you assume she expects you to have sex with her. That's not it. But bottom line, folks, we got to find a way. I don't know how we're going to do it. We got to start with these young girls. We got to start teaching them, because they'll listen to the women saying, I do bad by myself. I don't need no man.
Yeah.
I don't need no man.
Get your education, get your career, get things going, and if you get 35 and you find a man, then you can settle down. Think about settling down. That's what they teach them now.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at this.
I don't know.
That's what they teach them.
Well, look at this. Yeah. It ties in to your economic. That's why I'm going to go back to talk about the fact that the devastating economic consequence of us not being married. Okay? When you look at the blacks, you're looking at about 45% household, about 45,000 household income. For the Asian, you're looking at 94,000. But they have the highest rate of marriage.
They do.
They have the highest rate of marriage. Then you go on to the whites, 50 to 55%. Their average median income is 76,000. Folks, look at the difference in the economic position of people who's married. You look at the Hispanic, they have 45 to 50% of marriages. And their, median income is 56,000. I think when we can point out to our people how this impact not just you today, folks, your children and your children's children will have less than what you have the way we're going. Now that's frightening, isn't it? Isn't that frightening?
Yeah.
I mean, and you talk about 70% of children born to someone who's unmarried. Right. I mean, how can you have banners when you haven't seen a wholesome relationship between a male and female? That's why when you do get married, most time it's not working. You ready to jump up and get out of there, don't care what happened, because mama didn't tell you about the stuff that she had gone through, but they worked it out because they never talk about that. So if you're looking at 70% of black babies born at a house to a single parent, you're looking at 70% of black children who have never had the energy and the synergy of a black man in their life, folks. Their life started out of banners. So now you wonder why the streets are the way they are. Now you wonder why our children are doing some of the stuff. Can't you see that it's out of order?
Yeah, and you have black female intelligentsia actually preaching this, that's the way it should be. They're doing the opposite. They're preaching it.
We don't teach our kids go out and get married and build a wholesome family. We just don't.
No.
We should teach our children to go out and be married. I remember I was doing a vision board workshop with a group of Armenians. And it was children. They were like between 15 and 18. They were graduating from high school and going to college. So a group of kids, they came to me. They wanted me to do the workshop, the vision board workshop. So I did it for them. And in the beginning, they didn't know what it was about. And then they started to really feel it. They started to really like doing it. And then they showed me their board after, because I wanted to make sure that they were putting the right things on there. One of them had a picture of an older couple, like, your grandma and grandpa. And I said, well, what is this? He said, that represents me and my wife when we get older.
Wow.
I was like, wow. Wow. Okay? That's what we need to start teaching. Staying together until we get older. There's no reason to break up with our mate. But we don't teach that. How many times have you saw a picture of you can picture you and your husband or wife being old and being together? Never. You can't see it. I was really impressed with that. I was really, really impressed with that.
I can see that. And women who are not married, please, stop lying to your daughters like it's okay, honey. Honey, I ain't standing by no man, honey. I don't need no man. Stop that bullshit, okay? Stop the lying, because you want to have a man in your life. So now you're socializing this daughter. Mama did good. She raised me. She didn't have no man. She don't know what doing good is. She doesn't know what good is. You can be vulnerable. You can be honest with yourself. I don't have a man in my life, but I would love to. Right. I would love to be with someone that you can have a relationship with. Stop lying. Right. Because you're perpetuating your daughters feeling that it's okay to just have sex and not have a husband because that's what you did.
Right.
Tell them the real deal about being single. Sit down and tell the truth. Come on. Sit down and tell the truth how hard it is. What you went
being
through,
by yourself. I tell them
by themselves. Tell the story.
Trying to do all this stuff by myself.
Oh, and you're Superwoman.
No, but you know what? I'm that woman that says I'm independent. I can do it on my own. I do say that. I'm like that. But I never taught my kids to do that. I never taught my daughter to be like me. So they're married, have babies, and have a good relationship. And I think that's the way it should be. And, you can always break the
generational curse,
a routine, that we've been embedded in us, but you just have to break it. You have to teach love. You have to teach marriage. You have to teach all that and say, it's okay. Even though you didn't see me married, it's okay. You should get married.
And they did. They did. Married, but it wasn't that I didn't want to be. It just nobody wanted me. Okay, whatever you want.
Nobody wanted me.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that.
No.
To say the truth. You can need to say, there's so many days I wished I had a husband. It just didn't work out. I've dated. I love men. I love black men. You got to have that conversation. But don't be like most people. Honey, I ain't studying about no man. Honey, man can't do nothing. Show me where so-and-so is. Knowing that you want somebody, be honest with yourself. And then your kids can be healthy, even though you don't have a husband, even though you had that child outside of being married. Teach the child the healthy way to go. It is important because I'm saying this, folks, because if we don't turn this thing around called marriage, you haven't seen black folks in the economic. You haven't seen it, you guys. With AI facing facing jobs layoff, facing people not gonna have a job and don't have the skills to start their business. We gotta look at this, Keith, about who needs to bring the most money. Make that household work.
And they bring in migrants, or what they call people of color, in to take your place. And so that's pushing you further down the ladder. So we got to do something.
We got to look at family in a whole different light. You got to look at family now that you're going to be living in the same house. Keith, that's a whole new landscape ushering in around family living. I was in Bakersfield, and they're building intergenerational housing, like 7 or 8 bedroom, maybe 2 kitchen, 2. What people, folks, take your head out the sand. You're going to need each other. Teach your daughter and teach your sons, that you don't have to spend all your money on a woman. If that's a woman, if that's what she needs, maybe you need to educate her. That how we both are going to make this work. Every time we go out to eat, you're going to pay sometime. Because if you're going to be a liability, just be frank. I don't need a liability. I need somebody we can hook up together and make it work.
Now, I always tell young men to talk to her at least 2 weeks on the phone before you even take her, spend $1 on her. If she can't call you and talk to you over the phone, then she's probably not worth dating.
That's a good idea, Keith. And somebody needs to tell these men that they're not responsible, and you're not less than a man because you ain't paying this woman's rent or picking up her car note. Now, you know how many hate mail I'm going to get today, right? Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
See, you always taking up for me, and Dr. Milligan love the men. No, I love right.
If you do that, then she's not your girlfriend. She's your sugar baby. Okay?
That's right.
Exactly.
She's a mistress.
And the minute you stop giving her, now you're mad and want to kill her because
she's on the
she's
payroll.
done with you. Yeah, now she's looking for somebody else to do the same thing.
You put her on the payroll.
Women, pay your own way in life. Don't pay your way. Don't expect a man.
Be independent. No, I'm just kidding.
Pay your way. Stop expecting so much monetary thing from black men. I mean, a lot of these men, the women come with children, The men have children sometime before they get involved with you. They got child support out here. You know what the economy is. Stop asking these men about money. So when you guys go places, you pay sometime, he pays sometime. We just have to make it work, and we got to start talking about marriage. We got to let people know it's all right to get married. It's not going to be peaches and cream every day. It's not peaches and cream when you by yourself.
Yeah, and we have to start training our kids how to be husbands and wives, because we don't do it anymore. And
exactly.
And somebody asked me why passport bros, or the phenomenon of passport bros is rising amongst black men, is because they realize that the same things that black women have been taught not to prioritize them and prioritize marriage, whereas in the traditional society they do. So they're going over looking for the things that we used to get here.
Right.
And we don't get it anymore.
Yeah. And any little thing, I'm out of here. You got to learn, because you're going to do the same thing in the next relationship. If you can't sit down and iron it out, there's going to be problem in every relationship. So you need to start and get counseling. You know, get counseling. Try to make your relationship work. Because everybody out here who claiming they having such a ball, singing, being by themselves, don't believe all that coming out of their mouth. I'm just upfront.
No.
Don't believe everything you hear. Okay.
Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
No. It is meant for people to have a partner, to be with someone. You were designed that way. And when you don't, and you're not fulfilling that, we can go out, tell them, Shawan, we can go out and make all kind of money.
I agree with you.
There's
I
an
agree with you, Dr. Rosie.
There's an emptiness.
I agree with you.
How much money is in the bank?
I am not going to lie to you, Dr. Rosie. I am looking for a husband.
Right. And put it out there, because some people think when you're in certain positions, you got 100 people chasing you, or you already got somebody. And for those who are looking, don't assume that person is occupied. If it's someone you like, don't feel rejected. If the person says, I'm really with someone, in a committed relationship, go up and ask that person. So, folks, bottom line is we got to focus on marriage. They don't even talk about it in church no more. Here they saw somebody come up and had a baby.
They don't even talk about church anymore.
Ain't got a husband.
They don't talk about church anymore. They don't talk about God anymore. Bring God back into our world.
I want to tell the sisters, man, it takes a lot for a black man or any man to approach a woman and get rejected. So if you're going to reject him, don't what they call nuclear rejection. Don't belittle him for approaching you. Yeah, there's a lot of black women, they take pride in belittling a man for approaching them. So, if you're going to do it,
that's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I had a friend that did that. I was like, wow, why do you have to talk to him like that?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? What is it that you want? I'm like, oh, my God.
He
really?
should have said, it's not you, okay?
Not you.
Tell him to call me. I'll tell him how to talk to these silly
it's simply to say, thank you, but no, I appreciate you, and but no, thank you, and it takes like 5 seconds. Yeah.
It's this time I'm not I wouldn't even make a good partner for a relationship. Man, you don't want to talk to me. You don't know me.
It's just thank you.
You don't know me like that. Wow.
I have a question for you, Keith.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, have you seen some of these? They're probably skits or whatever, where like the guy, he walks up to a lady. She's at the gas station pumping gas or whatever, or she's going to her car, and he's saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," and she's like, "I got a man, I got a husband. Leave me alone. I ain't trying to talk to you. I'm tired of you dusty Negroes and all this kind of." He's like, "Look, I just want to tell you that you had a flat tire." Then all of a sudden she's like, "Can you help me?" No, go get your husband. Go get your man to do it.
Okay, this is something that I've talked to a lot of black women about, and I've heard, and I've been in circles with black women. Okay, this is a flex for black women about how they rejected a man and what they said to him, and they go back to their girlfriends and say, this dusty dude tried to talk to me. I don't know why he think he was qualified for me, and that puts them at a higher level, and it puts him down below, and it raises in their mind their status. Okay, and so rejecting is almost like a sport. How many men they reject? They go to clubs, just to reject men because it gives them a boost. That's like a sport. The new thing about the balloon pop, How black men come in, they pop the balloon. Okay.
Oh, I'm sick of that show.
Black women love that because what kind of rejection did they give that man? How did they put him down? And that's fun for them. So I don't know if that's trained or I don't know exactly where that exactly comes from, but I've heard it so many times where they will actually go to a club and turn down as many men as they can, and then come back and tell the girlfriends about how many men they rejected.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing, because there are people who, I've seen them at a dance, they just wiggling, twisting, and the man figure they want to dance. Go over and ask for a dance, and then they turn them down.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. They not ask you to go to bed with them, so you can dance with. If you out, what's that song? To what you come down here for? Do you want to party? Do you want to dance?
It's a girl. He had his shoelaces. His shoelaces was the wrong color. Something like that. So.
Right, it doesn't make sense to dance with a person and go on about your business. You could have made their week, made their month. We shouldn't be like that. But bottom line, folks, we got to start talking about marriage. We don't talk about it in the church that these little girls had these babies, and here you going to come up making a big deal about a Christian and ain't no dad and nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You're making a big deal out of it. I'm not saying scorn them, but we need to stop making a big deal out of people who having babies and they're not married. Ain't no big deal. Passing the baby from one to the other. Okay, look at that cute. No, go to one, sit down.
And black male and female relationships it's probably the most complex thing I've ever seen in my life. It's probably harder than rocket science, about trying to figure out all the cues and the negative cues and the rejection and stuff like that. And that's love. That's showing love to each other, rejecting each other, talking about each other, being mean to each other is just part of the dance. I had to tell my grandson that about little
Klingon.
Well, yeah, I call it Klingon. He was 10. He just walked up to a little girl at school and said how cute she was and how he liked her, and she was mean to him for the whole semester, even though she liked him.
But that's how they do.
Isn't that how little girls do?
That's how little black girls.
Isn't that normal?
No, little black girls do that. No, little white girls.
I guess I was a little black girl.
You're little black. You're little black girls and
she'll
little
be
black
all
girls.
on him. I like you too.
Little Latina girls and white girls and Asian girls. They don't do that. They say, "Oh, I think you're cute." They will approach you and say you're cute. Okay, and that they like.
Shawana, he's telling the truth about that. If you listen to a lot of young men,
no, I agree. Well, I said I was a little black girl.
Because we've been trained that's how we show love to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree.
You guys.
I agree.
Well, one thing I can say in closing, if we don't change this dynamic, I would hate to see 20 years from now what's going to happen when you start looking at these girls raising babies by themselves. You're looking at the incarceration rate. How can you expect our community to be whole when there's so many broken pieces and there ain't nobody trying to fix it?
Dr. Rosie, that's what you were saying.
Yeah. Keith, we're going to start back having relationship seminars. We need to talk. We're going to pull people who've been married 40 and 50 years and let them talk to us. Because they didn't always get along. They went in the other bedroom and slept sometime for a whole month. They didn't always sleep together, but they did not divorce. And now these people are so happy because when I look at these older women out here now who's struggling, can't hardly buy their medicine or food because they're sitting up by themselves. It's cute when you're young. You say, well, I'm out of here. I don't have to be bothered. But as time go by, when you get old on that little Social Security check, because none of these Social Security checks are adequate enough to even pay your rent if you can't get Section 8. These are the conversations we got to start having with people, that you cannot make it by yourself. We just got to be for real. Some of us are blessed enough to be able to do it, but that's one in a million. You'd be surprised how these elderly senior women are suffering now, because they made choices that I don't have to be mad. Susan, I can do good by myself. No. Anyway, you guys, the show is going to re-air at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. I thank you all for listening. For all of those who are out there, find your wife. Find your husband. Yeah, go find somebody. Shawana, I'm gonna marry Shawana off by the end of the year.
Shawana has.
You make sure you find me a good one, Dr. Rosie.
See, you got to have a good one.
I want a good one.
Okay, she got.
It got to be a good one.
She has qualifications.
But she didn't qualify.
I got
qualifications.
But you know, Dr. Rosie, you know me.
I showed a group of men your website because I wanted to talk about real estate, right? And said, does she have a husband? I said, no. I heard she was looking, but
Yeah.
and one thing, men, don't be hesitant to talk to women like you want. Sometimes men will assume if you're doing well, you're doing this, you assume that you're not good enough for that woman. Stop assuming that. You just don't know what kind of person that person wants. Stop assuming.
Keep
right.
And
she's not looking for someone who has to match her with dollars, but she wants them to match her with kindness, match her with wit, with understanding, right?
Right. I want some love. I do want you to come correct, of course, because I don't want to take care of you. But.
In other words, what she's saying, she doesn't want 100%. She wants you to bring your best. That's what she thinks. Bring your best.
One important thing is, Dr. Rosie, Keith says that you got to teach your kids how to be a wife, and I was taught how to be a wife. So that's
so what you trying to put out there to the public?
I know how to cook. I know how to clean, and I know how to bring home the bacon.
And you're a gourmet lover, right?
The girl, don't get me started.
I always tell black guys the cooking and cleaning is just an indication how she was raised. She was raised to be a wife. I mean, cooking and cleaning is fine. Anybody, you can do that yourself. The thing is was she raised to be a wife? Was she her mindset to be a wife? And that's an indicator. If she doesn't cook or clean and know how to take care of kids, then she's probably not raised to be a wife.
Wow.
Right.
I
was definitely raised to be a wife.
I saw that gumbo pot. I believe it, baby.
Well, look, you guys, the clock on the wall said that's all we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you same time next week. So those who out there in limbo, go somewhere and find yourself a wife. Women, find you a husband. Stop begging these men for their money. Stop making them feel like they got to take care of you. Get your own damn money. That's all I'm saying. Have a great day.
All right.